I just blew up at my family and I have honestly never felt better. I am not the oop. Oop is you, Honest Sky 7765. I just blew up at my family and I have honestly never felt better. Originally posted to r, true off my chest. Original post June 19, 2023. For some background, I, 25M, am the only male in my family, not including my son and nephews. Over the years I have often been the forgotten one in the family or the one who is expected to just give things up for others. However, more often recently, it has been the constant need for favors. From building furniture, to sorting out different technology, to being the adult figure at an event for the younger ones due to them being unable to make it. For example, when growing up, I would often be left home alone while the others in my family went out for meals or for a girls' day. Once also being left with other family members so that they could go on holiday without me. Or I would be expected to take my dad's old clothes. He lived separately from my mom, while my sisters got brand new everything. From clothes, to big trips, to having their prom entirely paid for while I had to stay home during my prom. So on to what caused me to blow up. Yesterday was Father's Day. As mentioned, I have a son myself. And since I am the only male, I am also the main male role model for my nephew. I do not wish to sound whiny, but this is now the 4th year in a row that I have been completely forgotten about. I'm a simple person, so I do not expect nor like big celebrations or gifts. I just wanted a simple message saying Happy Father's Day. Now I would usually be able to ignore this and move on. However, Mother's Day in our family has always been a huge event, with constant gifts, meals, etc. Wishing for a simple message seemed so small in comparison, so I didn't feel like I was asking too much. It was not as if they had completely forgotten about it, as various members of the family posted about Father's Day, including little posts for those who have unfortunately passed away or are no longer part of the main family unit, like my father. So this ended with me blowing up at my family for constantly asking me for favors and to make sacrifices when I can't even get the smallest bit of acknowledgement in return. Honestly, I said a lot of things that I have been holding in for the longest time, and I don't think I have ever felt better getting it off of my chest. Edit. First off, I would like to say thank you for all of the support. It genuinely does mean a lot. As for what some people have been asking, I have tried to talk to my family in the past about feeling like I have been treated unfairly. Communication isn't my strong point. I was diagnosed with high-functioning autism or Asperger's just last year, and it has always resulted in my family, mainly my mother and sister, accusing me of lying or misremembering stuff. As for the blow-up, it resulted in my mother lying about getting me something every single year. Not true, as I keep absolutely everything that has anything to do with my son or Father's Day, and then trying to make me feel guilty for being angry, followed by her quickly leaving the family group chat. My sister, however, quickly jumped in and started trying to belittle me as a father and defend my mother, followed by removing me from the group chat before I could reply. The only one on my side in all of it is my grandmother, who is the only one to treat me fairly. Overall, both my sister and mother completely missed the point I was trying to make and acted like I had asked for a huge celebration for me when all I had said was that I give a lot to the family. It would have been nice to get a simple message from them. Relevant comments. Okalegs 1992. Hugs. It took long enough. And when they keep calling, tell them, no, that you have better things to do. Like to hang out with your child. They want you to babysit their kids. No, I'm busy. You are a parent. You do not need to fill the role of anyone for free labor. Oop replied, thank you for this. Unfortunately, in the past when I have told them no, it has led to me being repeatedly shouted at or Guilt-tripped or just completely ignored for weeks. Autopath 79. What specifically did you say when you blew up? Did you blow up to everyone all at once? Was it in person? What was their reaction? Oop replied, "We have, more accurately now, had a family group chat. Just after midnight on Father's Day I sent a simple message in there telling everyone that I will no longer be doing people favors. When asked why, I simply asked them what day it was. This was followed by my mother claiming not to have had internet connection all day, despite sharing things on Facebook throughout the day, and claiming to have gotten me something every year, which is just completely not true, as ever since my son was born, I have kept anything to do with him in various memory boxes. From cards, to gifts, to little school things he has done." This was followed by me calling her out personally in the chat for not making any effort with me for years, pointing out that she has messaged me twice this year and visited my house 3 times in the last 3 years, but then always expecting me to make constant effort for her or do favors. We live less than 10 minutes apart. My mother then left the chat and hasn't messaged me since. My sister then jumped in and started saying I was being unfair by calling out my mother and tried to belittle me, and then quickly removed me from the group chat before I could reply. Update June 21, 2023. For those who have seen my last post, I thought I'd give you an update. Following me blowing up at my family, I received multiple messages either belittling me, playing the victim, or calling me unfair. So after a lot of people giving me the same advice, I have decided to cut them out of my life, mainly my mother and sister. I'm still in contact with my grandmother and younger cousins, as they have genuinely done nothing wrong and have been on my side. However, my mother has decided to be petty. In our family, each of us pays for a different streaming service and share the accounts. My mother decided to change the password to her account and kick me off of it. So I have done the same with the service that I pay for. I will, however, be logging my cousins and grandmother back into it, but not revealing the password. So yeah, I've cut off the ones who would make me feel worthless, and they've decided to be petty in return. This is a repost sub IAM, not the oop. Gaslighting at its finest. I bet the mom and sister will come crawling back to Op, trying to get him to do stuff for them again. I hope Op doesn't cave and goes NC for good. Also, where is OP's wife in all of this? She could have done something for Op. Sister. Accusing me of lying or misremembering stuff. Same exact thing happened to me. Apparently none of it ever happened. I don't talk to my sister much these days. One of the things I love most about my wife is how much of a fuss she makes about celebrating Father's Day as much as Mother's Day in our household. The only thing she was ever bummed about is that our 2 kids were born right after Mother's Day in the UK, so she had to wait almost a year to experience actually being a mother on Mother's Day first time around. I am one of 9. My parents raised 5 kids, 2 girls and 3 boys, and then adopted 4 more girls. My mom always had a big Mother's Day. My dad was always forgotten. My dad is my best friend, and as I got older and started making a bigger deal about his birthday or Father's Day, my mom would pitch a fit. I don't love her as much. My dad can't be trusted. It's so sad how men aren't always appreciated for the things they do. Like a little bit does such a very long way. I make sure my dad knows he's the best, and my boyfriend gets regular verbal affirmation and physical touch. Appreciate the good men in your lives, y'all. Give them their flowers today. This is the male version of Cinderella. OOP's parents sound almost cartoonishly villainous. His evil sisters got their prom fully paid for while he wasn't even allowed to attend. They regularly went out for girls' nights, while he had to stay home. He was shipped off during family holidays. My husband could have written this: disappointed people like that don't change. Not even for big events like weddings or the birth of a child. They decided who they value a long time ago. The craziest thing about situations like this to me is that, and I mean this in the least awful way possible, but it still sounds bad, you've clearly worn down these people to the point that they have nearly no self-respect. It would cost you literally nothing except maybe a second of your time to occasionally throw them a bone to ensure that they stay at your beck and call. A simple, "Happy Father's Day," would have been enough for OOP's mom and sisters to keep their free houseboy for at least a while longer. Smart villains at least occasionally show a glimmer of contrived affection to keep their victim servants returning for more. But now OOP's mom and sisters lost what was for them a sweet deal because they couldn't be bothered to think even a bit about long-term retention. The Old Narcissist's Prayer describes this post to AT. Communication is the answer to 90% of issues brought up on Reddit. However, the 10% is when dealing with all of the just no family members, friends. Communication does nothing except allow them to hone their Darvo skills. The only answer in these cases is to nurture and grow a super sparkly, glistening, shiny unicorn horn spine. Although a unicorn horn would come in handy as a bayonet for the extra spicy people. It's never too late to stand up for yourself. It's definitely not easy. I'm proud of OOP. I've never understood why, in some cultures, people expect to be wished a happy Father's Day or Mother's Day by people who aren't their children. That said, that was just the last straw on OOP's back. The double standards in this family were terrible and terribly damaging to him. Phew. My first marriage was into a family of women. I had one brother-in-law, who was either so beaten down, or unable to stand up for himself that he was a shell of a person. I didn't last long, coming home from a long day and being told, go to sister one's house and then mom's house and then. However, if I needed anything, forget it. The coup de grace was when they planned a girls' trip, which I normally wouldn't care about as it got them out of my hair. But they planned to leave on Father's Day and take my son, the only grandchild, because it's not safe to leave a young child alone with just a man. I was okay to move furniture, lift things, clean up icky things at all hours, but unable to care for my own son? Nah, F that. I like how she discontinued the streaming service. Thanks, Mom. But having you for a mom hurts a lot more than losing one small service. So that was nothing. Made me laugh. Cold sweat smiled tears of joy, and I am sure that the time or cost spent on said service is nothing compared to favors and resources asked of OP. What a joke of a family. They took him so for granted that the only thing his own mother could do to try to upset him was change a streaming password. 'Cause she's so butthurt over her image being aligned with the reality, she's been able to ignore his entire life. She's a joke. Why is it that us high-functioning autistics get told we're making a mountain out of a molehill and get near forgotten about when it comes to gifts? At least my parents aren't quite so bad as OPs. They don't pretend to have bought me gifts when they didn't. The last few Christmases, though, have certainly made a tiny part of me wonder why I continue to go back to my hometown for Christmas, because I felt so much like an afterthought. Some of the highlights include a pair of $20 Target PJs split between my birthday, also in December, and Christmas. A note leading me to the outside fridge where there was an unwrapped tub of ice cream, because you're so hard to buy for. Literally fill my stocking with chocolate and I'll be happy as a clam. How is that hard? A pack of wooden linen closet mothballs. a shower loofah. I already had two, and an initial keychain which all came from the dollar store and had zero personality or thought to them. A single fairy-wind-shaped glowstick left over from filling my nieces' and nephews' stockings. A diary. Haven't written in one of those in years. And the pièce de résistance. Last year's disaster of a day. We were doing a family Kris Kringle. So that meant we didn't have to buy something for everyone in the family. Just the one who drew our name. Well, last Christmas started off on a spectacular note, with my Christmas tradition of watching the carols on TV before bed being interrupted by everyone being sent to bed because it was past our bedtimes. First off, I'm in my 30s. I don't have or need a bedtime. And second, I'm the kind of autistic person who gets incredibly stressed and unsettled by plans changing unexpectedly, especially when they're close. Being midwatch was about as close as you could get. So the carols got turned off and I went to bed extremely upset and flustered because my plans got changed on me for no good reason, and was thus laying awake for most of the night. Finally got to sleep, then woke up about 11 a.m. to discover I'd missed presents. Not that it would have mattered if I had woken up in time, because there wasn't a single present under the tree for me. That's right. Kris Kringle eliminates the need for you to buy for everyone, but it also eliminates the need for anyone to buy for you either. The grandparents got gifts from their grandkids. The parents got gifts from their children. And the children got gifts from everyone. But me? I'm the childless aunt. I don't get anything. I had to wait until the rest of the immediate family showed up from their house to finally get my hands on my stocking and Kris Kringle gift. And the stocking was almost as disappointing as the rest of it. Because it was $8 worth of losing scratch tickets, a deck of quiz cards that nobody cared about, and a block of chocolate that I depressionate within a couple days. Thank goodness for the Kris Kringle. They basically salvaged what was left of that day. And let me tell ya, by that point there wasn't much left to salvage. And got me two things that I wanted from my wish list. I don't mean to sound greedy and entitled, but when everyone else is opening gifts from everyone else continuously throughout the day, and the grandkids are playing with what feels like 70 different things, and I get one single decent present halfway through the afternoon, and for the rest of the time I hear, you got more scratch tickets than everyone else. 3 worth a whole $8. Woo. Breaking the bank to fix that imbalance face with cold sweat. I can't help but feel like an afterthought. At one point I quietly said to my mom that it was probably a good thing that I slept through presents. 'Cause can you imagine those grandkids going, "Auntie needs a gift too," and going hunting under the tree for something that doesn't exist? How awkward would that have been to explain? So yeah, more and more often I'm feeling like an afterthought at family Christmas. Maybe this year will be different. I tell myself every year, wondering just how bad it'd be this year compared to last. So sad for Oop. He's the opposite of the golden child. Whatever that is, I hope he maintains his boundary. What a terrible family. $10 says Oop looks just like his dad. Fellow Aspie here. It's amazing, once you spot the pattern, how often you see this behavior. I sum up the pattern this way. We don't want to hear it. And you're wrong anyway. And once you see it, you realize that it's happening because you've allowed it. But once you see it for what it is, you don't allow it anymore. And everyone around you goes crazy because all of a sudden they don't have their punching bag anymore. It's hella uncomfortable for a while, but it's worth standing your ground. I've lost people from my life, but I've gained so many more. The first thing to learn about boundaries is what they are. The second thing to learn about boundaries is you. Yes, you, the helper, punching bag, invisible until needed person, are allowed to have them. Well done you. Keep going. As someone myself with ODHD, I struggle a lot with memory issues, so it's always been easy for me to be gaslit and manipulated by passive-aggressive comments. Fortunately, my family and friends are on the up and up, but I've made it a habit to keep notes about contentious conversations I've had with coworkers or acquaintances because I hate being confused by my own memories. Feel like this is the third time I've read this story on here. I wonder who dear mom and sis will get to assemble their furniture. Watch the kids so they can a girl's day. Help them with their tech needs. And everything else Oop did?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.